Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. In today's video, I'm going to be doing an October book haul and review. So, without further ado, let's get into the video. So here are all of the books that I have collected this month. Well, actually, it's the start of November now, but last month, October. In October, I collected these books. First book I have on top is like probably one of the most exciting for me personally. This is a Bible, but it's not just any Bible. It is a German Bible. And a lady in our church actually gave this to me to borrow and read a bit. And I was like so excited. And it's all in like German. The second book that I have here is a book that Mum actually picked up from someone. They gave her a whole bunch of books and it was this book, Little Woman. I haven't read this book yet, but I'm planning to read it soon. I'm not sure what it's about really. Mum said it's a classic, so I'll be reading this one. The next book I actually have here is A Week in Paris. I read this book and I love it. I will do the review on it shortly. Yeah. The next book I got was this Bryce Courtney book called The Power of One. When I saw this, it kind of like popped out because I actually watched the movie last year. Like got to read the book yet, but yeah, I saw this and I was like, yeah, I wanted to read it. Last but not least, the last book that I have collected this October is the Mademoiselle Coco Chanel book. I saw this on the computer they had at the library and I was like, I also would really love to read this. So yeah, as I said, I actually read, as I said, this is called A Week in Paris. Now, I actually typed up a little book report on my computer, so I'm gonna read off that a little bit, but I also did find another really good book report on Goodreads, so I will link that in the description box below so you can go read it if you want to read their little overview on the book. Okay, so firstly, if I look down, I'm just going to be reading what I wrote about this book. So, firstly, the way the book is laid out, it first starts with a 17-year-old violinist Faye going to Paris for a school trip from her home in England. At a fancy dinner one night, she meets a boy called Adam. She actually met him a bit earlier to the dinner, but she meets him again at the dinner. Also on a school trip. But when travels back to England, doesn't speak to him again because she has no way to contact him. She tells her mother about the trip and she felt a connection to Paris and tells her that if she had a life before her life now, she thinks it would have been in Paris because it felt so familiar to her. The story then moves forward 5 years later to when she has finished school and has moved out of home. An orchestra is down a violinist and has planned several concerts in Paris and hires her on. She's actually already in the orchestra but doesn't tour with them. Her mum ends up in hospital again and Faye has to leave during this time for the tour. Her mother tells her to look in a locked chest in her mother's bedroom and tells her to talk to someone while she is in Paris. After her first concert in Paris, there is a dinner from when behind her she hears someone call her name. She turns around to see that it was Adam. Now when I was when I read the person call Faye, like it didn't say who it was, she heard someone call Faye. I was like, it has to be Adam, and then when I saw it was him, I was like, yes, like I was so excited. They plan to meet up the next day and for the rest of the week. Over the next week, she ends up meeting with some people and finding out things about her childhood, and her childhood is not what she thought it was. The book then switches between the present time and 20 years before finding out the past. So basically this, I believe this is written, so now like when she goes back to Paris and everything, I believe it's the 1960s based in, and then it switches between that time and the 1940s when the Second World War was on and when she was like just before she was born, a little bit about her parents meeting and that, and then when she was born during the Second World War. So that's really interesting. That's all I'm going to say about this book just for this second. I'm going to do a spoiler now. If you would like to skip the spoiler, skip to this time in the video, but otherwise stay on. For the person that Faye's mother told her to talk to in Paris actually died a year before she got there, so she was trying to find this person, but she actually had passed away. The priest directs her to someone who might be of use. So basically, she meets with the lady he recommends and finds out she knew Faye's mother and tells her about her childhood. Now, here is the really kind of big bit. Paris, okay, wait. Faye was actually born in Paris. So basically, she got told her whole childhood that she was born in England and lived in England and all this stuff, but she was actually born in Paris on the day World War II broke out. Not only was she lied to about her childhood, but also her father's death. She got told that her father died in an air raid and their house and everything in it was destroyed and her father died. That's what she was told. But her father was actually a doctor and helped to hide Jews to stop the Germans capturing them. One day the Germans came in after and found him hiding under the floor in the church. The leader of the group felt the knob of the door where he was hiding, like on the floorboards kind of thing, under the rug. And once refusing arrest, shot him to death. But is this really what happened? Okay. No, once again, Faye was lied to about her father's death and never gets told the truth, not even in the end of the book. So first of all, she's told this big lie about her father died in an air raid. Lied to. Then she gets told that her father was shot to death under floorboards. Now that's half true, but what you're about to hear will... Oh my goodness, okay. So, yes, the Germans were looking for her father and were about to give up. They were actually about to give up. They could not find him. When Faye, at the age of 2, so this is when she was 2 years old, says, "I want my papa." The group leader comes over to the little girl and asks her where her father is. Afraid, but not knowing any better, Faye points to the secret door under the carpet, and her mother is crying out like, "No, you don't!" And then they cover her mouth, and it's the saddest thing. Yes, he was shot to death, but Faye was the reason her father died that day, and once again she was lied to about her father's death. And not even in the end of the book do they ever tell her that was the reason. She goes to visit her mom and she's really upset with her mom because she never told her all these things, and then she tells her about how her father died, and her mom's like, "Wait, say it again?" And she tells her, she's like, "Oh, yeah, that is how he died, but he didn't," and it's just so heartbreaking. And anyway, so last thoughts and summary on the book. Near the end of the book, Faye and Adam confess their love to one another, which is the happiest thing. I was waiting for it, and then it happened at the end, and I was like, yes, oh, so happy. Faye has never told the truth about her father's death, which is so heartbreaking. Okay, so overall, I would rate this book a 4.75 out of 5, just because a few things I was a little annoyed at, but that's okay. This book was amazing. I absolutely loved it. There was a couple of things that I wish would have taken place, but overall it was incredible. I would definitely like to read more books written by the author, as I loved her writing, and this book definitely was one of my top faves. Totally recommend. But have not finished yet is the Mademoiselle Coco Chanel one. Just over halfway through it, I think, or a bit more, I don't know. I'm not too close to finishing it, and this book is so cool. You basically learn a lot about things in this book. It says at the start, fashion that we know today, even if it's way different from Chanel's style, fashion today would not be what it is today if it wasn't for Chanel's big influence, because she did have an amazing, what we know is fashion. So basically, Chanel 05, insert picture here, was the first perfume she came out with. She saw people selling perfumes and she wanted that in her store too. And so what she did was she actually worked so hard to create this perfume that was different to everyone else's. And when she worked with someone to create the perfume, she didn't put it in her stores. When she was in restaurants, she sprayed it onto people. She sprayed it in all her dressing rooms, in her boutiques, in her stores. She would just randomly spray it on people, and people would be like, oh, what's that really nice smell? And she goes, I don't know. It's just I don't know. And then after a few months of doing that, I believe, she released it. And because everyone already knew of this perfume, but they didn't know where to get it from, no one knew anything. And then it was in her stores. They couldn't keep up with it, and they were constantly having to restocking and having trouble keeping up with it. So I thought that was a really smart way she did that. So much in there. Even she had this little box, and it looked very simple on the outside, but when you opened it up on the inside, it was gold. So she designed a lot of her things like that box meant to her. Things may seem simple on the outside, they might just be a nice coat, but on the inside there's fur, or there's a nice pattern, or reversing things so it's nice silk you see on there, things like that, which I thought were really interesting. And there's definitely a fair bit to pick up from bits in this book about what we know of today, and how things that happened in her life influenced the way she did her business and her clothing and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, she actually started off making hats. That's what she did, because her auntie or sister or somebody made hats, and she used to help. And then so she started making hats and started selling them, and then started expanding off that. These two books and the other one that I did not finish, I haven't really finished this yet, but anyway, are the books that I actually read this October. This is my, if I can hold it correctly, this is my October book haul and review. So, if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe down below for more, comment down any questions you have down below, and also comment down below any book suggestions that you have for me that maybe I could read and do a review on next time. So, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys!